Hello, hello, good afternoon, and welcome to another episode of Girl Talk with Alecia Tameko. I definitely have someone who is very special to me. I call her my business bestie. Her name is Tiffany A. Green Hood. She's a publisher, she's an author, she's a woman of many hats, graphic designer, but I will allow her to introduce herself. So welcome to the mic, Tiffany.
Hello. Hello, everybody. So yes, my name is Tiffany A. Green Hood. I am the founder of Black Writer Space and owner of TA Media. I have been in the literary industry for a very long time, and I teach authors the business of publishing.
Thank you for that. Wonderful. And a little background. So me and Tiffany, we met before 2018, but I was at a period of my life, I was scared to tell my story, share my story or whatnot. And she had just created an anthology called Real Divas Win. I stepped out of my comfort zone. I put in my chapter, so I'm a co-author in the book. And then Tiffany kind of encouraged me rather, to get into the book or whatnot. Can you tell us a little bit about Real Divas Win and, how did you come about the name and, putting that together?
Okay, so it was a night in December. Like towards the end of December. I don't know if it was before Christmas or after Christmas, but I have been wanting to do create my own anthology for a while. And God placed in my spirit to just do it. And on zero budget, mind you, zero budget. And I inboxed a couple of ladies that I knew had stories to see if they were interested in writing. And that night I had at least 15 replies back. So that started Real Divas Win anthology.
Wonderful. So looking at that, now is publishing your full-time career?
Right now, yes. Yes.
Okay.
It is.
Okay. And when did you first realize that you wanted to be a writer and publisher?
Well, I've been a writer since a kid.
Okay.
Even my mom used to say that I always was writing or had a notebook or something. Like I've always been a writer. So, but I do remember, so I used to write in my journals. I used to write poetry every single day. And we're talking about around 2000, 1998-ish, 97, like that. I do remember starting writing my own story about my own life around 2003, 2005. And mind you, I still have these notebooks at my dad's house. I still have those. And that is one reason why I'm itching to get up there so I can really get my stuff. Like, it's one thing to type, when you're doing a book and have it on a computer, but it's a whole nother thing when I still have the actual notebooks and things. Oof, yeah.
Okay, well, leading into that, when did you write your first book, and about how old were you?
So my first actual book that I okay, so it goes two ways. My first time being published, I was in an anthology. That was my first time being published, that I had written a chapter in an anthology with a lady named Julie, and 220 publications. They published that book. And so that was my first time being published. Still hadn't really done like my own thing. So, and then shortly after that, I want to say 2017, I believe it was March or April 2017, I released my own, my first ebook on Amazon. That was like my very first on my own.
Okay.
Published. So.
And you said that, since a child, you had always been writing and things of that. Did you always know that this would be your path, or what did you want to do? What did you actually want to do when, growing up?
No, this is what I used to say, and I think about this all the time. Every day I sit down at my desk. I work from home, and I think about this. I used to say that I wanted to be a computer analyst.
Mm.
That was my thing. I wanted to be I didn't even know all of what a computer analyst did, but I wanted to be a computer analyst. And so what has happened is, I kid you not, although I was saying I wanted to be a computer analyst, not even knowing what a computer analyst is, but what God has done with that is literally made me a what do you call it? I just had one of my clients tell me, you are a genius. Um, because I do I offer publishing services, production, things like that.
Mhm.
So I know how to go in and design. I'm a graphic designer. I'm a photographer since 2006. So everything, like, I want to say media and art, when you think about photography, books, writing, and all that, God has made me an analyst in that area, period. Like, I know how to write ebooks. I know how to design. I could design an ebook. I could design a flyer. I could design a website. I could design a logo. I know about branding and what it consists of, how to put the colors together, the fonts, like all of that, right?
Mhm.
I know how to manage an anthology since now I produced my own. So we're on
Mhm.
our the fourth volume will be released
Mhm.
this year. So it's like, when I'm such like a one-stop shop. So I don't know. And I looked up, I want to say it was a few weeks ago, I looked up the definition of analyst. And it was tripping me out because the definition wasn't real deep, and it
Mhm.
kind of still described what I do. It's just not in tech or compute, you know what I'm saying? Like computer stuff or infographics or anything like
Mhm.
that. But yeah, so.
Love that. Like, okay, so a little bit, I went to school to do graphic design, and I don't utilize that talent. I don't know if I shared that with you or not. I went to school for that. I originally went to college I wanted to do occupational therapy, but it was too much math for me. And I couldn't do it. And the courses that I had started taking, I had actually, it was like my third year of college. And they're like, why didn't you just sign up for graphic design? Because you have all these courses you've taken. And I'm sharing that because I've learned a lot from you, about fonts,
Mhm.
position, branding, colors, and everything, things that I originally wasn't taught specifically
Mm.
going to college, not knocking the college life, but I learned more outside of it than I did in it. But it's helped me along the way to kind of understand graphic designers as a whole and what they do, and how all your gifts and talents right now are all tied into one for you to be that one-stop shop, you know. So with that being said, what is your definition of success? What does that look like, given that you have all these gifts and talents and you're steady building upon those? What does that look like for you?
What it looks like for me is taking what I have created already, right? Because we have another, my husband and I have another business we want to branch out on. However, I was just like, I gotta take what I have now and make it work.
Mhm.
So take what I have now, build the audience and build the revenue, get it to where, I have the traffic to my website. People know about me. And so there are a couple of things that I'm implementing in my business to see those results. But
Mhm.
I'm currently even now seeing increase because my workload is like extra heavy right now.
Mhm.
So to where I kind of like need a virtual assistant. I need to definitely have a team that I can delegate and
Mhm.
yeah, all that. So that's what it looks like for me. And then you know what? Also feeling the excitement of what I have already accomplished.
Mhm.
Like you have to and I heard someone say this the other day, you have to take, I think it was on Clubhouse, take a piece of paper and write down what you have accomplished already. And I think sometimes we focus definitely as entrepreneurs, business owners, when you're really trying to run a real business for real, like you have to remind yourself of in your going after, make sure that you are still celebrating and don't diminish what you've already accomplished. I had to literally sit down and do that list myself because I was like, wait a minute. Oh man, I did this. You forget things that you've accomplished. You forget things that you've done. And you'll be so focused on what you're going after that you forget to celebrate the things that you've already done.
I completely agree. And to kind of piggyback off the, the whole college situation and why I didn't dig deeper into it. And people tell me, why aren't you doing that? You're pretty gifted in it. You're not excellent. I'm not excellent in it, but I know the beginnings of it. One of the things is that a professor told me, you're no good at this. And I started to believe it. And I stopped working on my craft or whatnot. Now that I'm older and I'm building upon that or whatnot, I see that it wasn't true. I'm completely capable of doing it. But with that being said, so as a writer, as a publisher, there are many people out there, and I've heard it, I've listened to the stories. They're scared or fearful. People won't believe their story. I was one of those people, or they don't know what to write. They don't know how to write. So what suggestions do you have to help someone become a better writer or getting started as a author?
I would say definitely study, definitely get a writing coach. I am not more so writing coach. I focus technically on the publishing aspect of the business. So the publishing part, the marketing part, the building the brand part, the visual aspect of it. I am definitely not a writing coach. I know how I write and what my writing style is, but to be able to like teach someone else how to, that's not my lane. So I stay out of that
That is
lane.
not your ministry.
But I have people that I could definitely refer to, ghostwriting, things like that, because it's a lot of people who want to write their own story, but don't want to literally write it, or simply just can't write it because they just can't write. But they understand that, no, I need somebody to do that for me. So I have people that I refer them out to. So yeah, I focus on the publishing.
Well, let's get to the nitty gritty of it. How do books get published? What's the process in that?
So the process with that is basically having the right printer. And I would say printing and distribution, like, okay, the book is done. Although we don't wait till the book is done, we start the marketing process very, very early as the thought of publishing. So the minute you think you want to write a book and you're sure of it and you're going to stick to that goal, that's when we kind of start the marketing process. So there's several things that I do, pre-order campaign, coaching. In my services, it's a lot of coaching.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm not going to say that everyone takes it and runs with it, because technically the coaching that I give is so in depth that you should be able to go and now publish your own books after that time from working with me. Whether people take that information and store it and recycle it, I have no idea. But as far as what I put out, yeah, you should definitely be able to publish your book again. And then I do understand that a lot of people are like, I just have you do that. And they come back a second time. I've had the second time and third time and fourth time clients come back, and I'm just their go-to person for publishing. So the publishing process consists of several things, but the main thing is having that amazing cover, definitely having an amazing story, which that's up to you to make it amazing. And my lane is more so self-help. I did have one fiction, and she could write her butt off. But for me personally, I write a lot of self-help.
Okay.
But the publishing process is basically having the starting the marketing process, building the buzz, building your audience up, knowing who your readers are, like that foundational process. That's really more what publishing is about, because
Mm.
the actual publishing part is basically having your ISBN, buying your ISBN number, choosing a great printer, and having the network of distribution that you need for the book to be available. You want to make sure the book is available across the world,
Okay.
not just on Amazon.
You know what I love, and I mean, we kind of laugh about it, but I know you're so serious about it, and you kind of touched on it. One, your face, your cover of your book, it matters. It definitely matters.
Uh,
It's a representation of what your story is, what the book is about, and you want to make sure that it's reaching your audience the way you need it to. The other one is, and correct me because you say it all the time though, Oprah is not waiting for you. So,
She ain't looking for them. They tell me they gonna be on Oprah. I'd be like, baby, she is not looking for you. Trust me. Oh, my story, I've heard it so many times. My story is the and my story is this. What we have to remember is there are millions and millions and millions of other people who have that same thought.
Mhm.
And I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm not saying that your story ain't all that. What I'm saying is most of the people that say that are nowhere near doing the work that it takes to get to Oprah.
Gotcha.
Nobody is like, you have authors who don't want to even go live on their own Facebook page, but you want to get in front of Oprah's audience. That's a problem. That's
Mhm.
a problem. You won't even get in front of your own audience, because even if you don't have a so-called audience for your business, if you got a personal Facebook page, you ain't going live on there talking about nothing.
Mhm.
If you're just on Facebook and you're just posting, reposting other people's stuff and reposting and posting all the little silly videos and the ghetto stuff, you're not ready.
Yep.
You're not ready, period. It takes some discipline. It takes some studying. I still study my craft all the time. Well, Tiffany, how do you study? I have books that I have yet to read, books that I might have started reading, didn't finish. I'm studying across the internet. It's blogs. It's so many websites and things on the internet with information. Information rules the world. Cindy Tram says that all the time, and it does. So I'm always studying to learn more. I never know it all. Never. I know a lot more than the next when it comes to this. Just somebody say, oh, I have no idea where to start, right? But I just don't stop. I keep gaining knowledge and gaining knowledge.
With that being said, what is one of the most surprising things you've learned being a publisher and creating books for other authors?
One of the most surprising things is, and I talked about this the other night, is the need for validation. I do not understand why so many authors, even with the opportunities we have with self-publishing now, because you have to think back in 1985, nobody was talking about this. I'm sure it always existed, but we didn't know about it. So whoever popped the top on that and, made it available, made it more known, that now you can, like I said, I think you could have always done it, but now companies have specific options specifically for self-publishers or small publishers, because you could be your own publisher even just for your own books. Being a publisher doesn't mean you have to publish other people. You can just set up your company specifically to publish your own books under as a business and be successful at it. So my biggest thing is the need for validation. Authors still want to they stay on the fence. I don't know if I want to go with a traditional or go with a self-publisher. And what I really, really, really have in my mind that I really be wanting to tell them is you don't have a choice. Self-publish. You need to self-publish. Because if we don't know what your writing is, right? But 95% of the time, You are not going to get picked up by no traditional publisher. That's just the plain truth. And your story might be amazing, but because they seek validation so bad, they want, and I just don't get it. You want to take it, and you have some authors who have already self-published, been successful at it, and still want to go and get signed. So I'm like, hold on, let me get this straight. You've already done it, you know the process, all of that. You may just need to just do try some different marketing strategies or something if that's the issue or whatever. But you've already experienced the independency of it, right? No limitations, total control. You can add on, you can create products, you can build your brand and go as far as you want to go. But because you still seek validation and you think that having a traditional contract publisher attached to your book is going to do something for you, you still want that. So you're willing to then give what you have created on your own, published on your own, been successful. When I say been successful, if you have book sales, you have been at some level of success with that. You've reached that. And you can keep going. Increase is unlimited. But you want to take this, turn it over to a traditional publisher, give them control. Now you have to give them 90% of your royalties for them to then dish out to you what's left, then tell you what you can and can't do with your book, what you can and cannot do with the name, because you definitely have to sign over your rights when you get with a traditional publisher. So you went from having control over your entire book, all your rights, everything, to now relinquishing that over to a traditional publisher just because you think this is a big deal and it's just going to put your name out there. As people are so caught up on this, I want to get my name out there thing. Put your own name out there. You can put your own name out there in self-publishing. You can do your own marketing. Even Hulu got where you can run ads now. Like everybody got ads.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't get how people are so quick to steal that validation thing, and they want it so bad that they're willing to hand over their book to then give away most of all their money, sign a contract, give away the rights. This means you can't do no film, you can't do nothing. And when you give them the rights, they can do whatever they want and ain't got to ask you nothing. If you want to change your cover, you got to get their permission. If you want to, and they're not going to build a brand for you, so you still have to do the work that you have to do in self-publishing. You still got to build your own brand. You still got to build your name. You still got to market your book. So that's all I'm gonna say about that.
Because I know we can go on and on about that. Tiffany is very passionate about publishing and doing it the right way so that you don't get caught up in that hamster wheel or whatnot of trying to figure out what you need to do. Now, clearly, if you haven't gotten the message, Tiffany is clearly all about self-publishing. She's not knocking traditional, but she's very active about self-publishing. So for those that have already written the book or the ebook or whatnot, and they don't know what the next steps are and what to do, what type of questions should they be asking as an author when getting ready to publish?
It depends if they are they going to self-publish or are they, so it's two different things. There's independently publishing and there is self-publishing. When you self-publishing, you are doing everything on your own. When you're independently publishing, you are coming to someone like me or a company similar to mine who's going to do your production for you. So we are really technically not your publisher, but you know, publisher in the sense to where we're doing the production, but not publisher in the sense to where you have any type of contract that splits royalties or anything like that. That's a different ballgame.
So as an independent, not to cut you off, as an independent publisher, you're handling the book cover, making sure that the books, that the designs or whatnot gets to wherever it needs to go to.
Mhm.
You're assisting in the marketing. Like what is
No,
okay, what
no,
does
I
it look
don't.
like?
I don't. I do very little when it comes to marketing. I would guess the one main thing that I do when it comes to the market, I'm coaching you and telling you what needs to be done as far
Mhm,
as like it's people who have never went live. They don't want to go live. They don't want to show their face on camera.
mhm.
They want to sit behind and they think that they can just put up posts and saying, buy my book, here's the link, buy my book, here's the link.
Not gonna happen.
That's a lot. That's a bit played out. So yes, the pre-order campaign, that's the whole setup to where we get to sell the book before it's even printed, before it's even finished written and everything. Now there are a lot of stipulations as far as on your end. If the book is not finished, you have to make sure that you have that in that timeline where you know it needs to be done by this date so we can do XYZ and things like that. Because when you initiate a pre-order campaign, you definitely need to have your release date
Mhm,
stated, you know, so when you are letting them know here you can pre-order now, they also need to know this is when you will receive your book will be shipped out on XYZ date. So that's very important. What was your other question?
mhm. You pretty much you answered, in
Okay.
regards to independently publishing, so people have a better idea of what that process looks like. Because I know there's always still some type of confusion as to.
So So let me say this. So it's for me, I offer the pre-order campaign. If you do my full production package, it's the pre-order campaign. It is the definitely the full cover design, the editing, the layout, and formatting. Okay. And then there's other things like the ISBN is included. Because as a publisher, I have my own ISBNs. And then there's also the LCCN that I do. Now, I used to include the copyright. I no longer include that. I have
Mhm.
authors go and do that on their own.
Okay.
If they need some assistance with that, I'll shoot over a YouTube. It's too time consuming for me to do. So I no longer include the copyright. But yeah, those are the main things that are included in when you talk about publishing.
Okay. Um, I want to know a little bit more about Tiffany, who she is as a person, in relation to, the publishing world. What is one famous author you would want to meet or that you would love to be your mentor if it was possible?
Oh, that's good. I would say I think I actually have one. A friend of mine.
Mm-hmm.
I've never really went through any type of mentoring program with him, but I've learned so much from him, just little simple things. When
Mm-hmm.
I actually started on my own fiction novel, and
Okay.
it's still sitting. My goal is to get it out this year. Again, self-help is my thing, so fiction is a different thing for me. It's a whole
Mm-hmm.
different world. His name is Darren Lowry. He has published, I believe, 38, 39 books and is currently working on his first film. Has sold over 100K books on Amazon. He uses Amazon for his shipping and everything, but so much knowledge
Mm-hmm.
from before social media, So he has definitely built a brand for himself. Still doesn't have a huge, I'm not gonna say like a huge following and stuff like that, but he sells books. Like when he has not released a book, they in his inbox or emailing him.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, what's up? Da da da. You know what I'm saying? So he has built that audience. And that's what another thing I want to say. I believe authors are too focused, just entrepreneurs, period, too focused on the numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Don't always think you got to have this many followers to have this many book sales. You don't. You don't. And if you're showing up and doing what you need to do, you can have 2,000 followers on Instagram and straight have those 4 or 5 figure months where your stuff is selling. So it's not about those numbers as far as how many followers you have on this platform or how many followers you have on that platform. And I think it's too much emphasis, too much attention put into that and not enough on building the brand.
Yep. That's one of the things you have definitely taught me. I've learned from you, from watching you grow, you know, on the Black writer space, social media. I was so consumed with the numbers. Why my numbers ain't moved? But as I started going live and showing up for myself and showing up for my brand, my followers did increase, but I started to connect with people who shared the same interests as I did, people that want to network, people that believe in my brand just as much as I believe in theirs. And from that started to grow, with other people. So it's definitely can't stress enough how important that is to not focus on the numbers. It's what the account looking like. Is this building you as a better person? Because you can definitely get overwhelmed. And then if you're not passionate about it, then what's the purpose? Kind of moving forward though, like what's the best part of your day? Like what does that look like for Tiffany?
When I get something done, that's the best part of my day. When I get something done. Yep. And I'm able to send that email and say, delivery. Delivery is the best part of my day. I would say delivery and productivity. Like, even if I don't get it done that day, I was able to get a chunk of it done, the book releasing, if it's a day where we release books on Tuesday. So if it's a day when somebody's book is being released or one of my books, and just to add that I'm really excited this year because I started publishing authors in 2016. So I did not put my own books in distribution. So they were not, like my anthology, we were just ordering copies. I hadn't put it, I want to say published it for real, until just a few months ago. So I'm excited about that. All of the volumes now are available across the world, Walmart.com, booksamillion.com, of course, Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, things like that. But I'm more excited about the websites where you've never heard of. In Australia, and they have Canada. I don't think we're on the Canada site yet. But in the UK, Brazil, like that, those are the ones where I pull the book up and it's got a whole different language. I don't even know what it's saying, but the book is available. You know what I'm saying? So that's a huge thing for me.
And I know that you touched on you're not a coach. You don't consider yourself a coach. But do you consider yourself a mentor?
Actually, I do consider myself a coach because I do nothing but coaching with my clients.
Okay.
But in the lane of self-publishing, in the lane of branding, it's always pretty much authors. When someone comes to me and someone came to me and I want to get more speaking engagements. The first thing I said is, do you have a book? Like, you need that product to push certain things. And he wanted to write a book and just really hadn't even done it. So we were able to launch that process because he wanted to do all this speaking, all this and that. And it's kind of like, what do you have that's tangible that can kind of usher you into that speaking? Not that you cannot have speaking engagements without a book, because you can. But why not have a speaking engagement you've been invited to, and it may not be a paid one, right? All speaking engagements are not always paid, but they're allowing you to bring your books and products and sell.
Yep.
Right? Because you get up there and you woo everybody and they are motivated, they're ready, they're going to come out and they're going to see your table and definitely purchase your book, your shirts, whatever it is that you have. But a book is always going to sell.
Yep.
If you sell it, if you position yourself to sell it, it's always going to sell.
With that, so again, I said I wanted to know a little bit more. I'm sure our listeners, would like to know a little bit more. I'm all about affirmations and quotes and things that empower yourself to get through the day. What is one of your ultimate favorite quotes or affirmations?
You can and you will.
Simple.
You can and you will.
Love it.
That would sum it up for me.
So what are three words that describe who you are?
Me, I would say if go-getter is a word, I would say that. I would say I am definitely a motivator.
Mhm.
Um, I don't know. It's so many different things I could say. I don't know how to narrow down to 3 words, but I would definitely like I'm the person who is like there is no excuse for anything.
Mhm.
That's me. So I don't know what word that'll fit into, but there's no excuse. Like you can come up with all these different, and I'm like, no, you could do X, Y, Z. Well,
Yep.
I don't have a budget. Well, you could do it for free.
Yep.
You can publish your book for free if you had the right resources.
Tiffany has put me in my place many a times, respectfully, to let you know that's not gonna work. That doesn't work. What's the resolution? What are we looking at here?
I cannot have those conversations when you know
Mhm.
you and gave all kind of solutions and creative, ways to get it done, and they still coming with, the conversation is over for me. I'm not gonna waste no
Yeah,
conversations and any energy on you just really kind of want some attention. Not doing it.
because you have to finally get to the point like, what does Tiffany want? What does Alecia want? What do you want? You know what I'm saying? That no
And how
one else,
bad do you want it?
exactly, because no one else can do it for you and get it for you. You know what I'm saying? I got to worry about my own thing over here. Not saying that I don't care, but I've given you some solutions, suggestions, or whatever. Take it or leave it.
That's it.
And that's it. So with that being, we hear about Black girl magic and all this other stuff. What makes Tiffany A. Green Hood so magical?
I would say her push, personality,
Mhm.
and even in my personality, I can be very misunderstood.
Mhm.
But I'm cool with that because that's the uniqueness of me. So I'm okay with that. And what was the question again?
What makes Tiffany A. Green Hood so magical?
My push, my go getter thing. Like I'm gonna go get it. I'm gonna get it. And I guess it goes back to the statement I said, I can and I will, like period.
Mhm.
And I'm not waiting on nobody's validation,
Yes.
like period. Like after dealing with low self-esteem for years, most of my life, dealing with being bullied, talked about, and just really just nothing. Always thinking about suicide, all that stuff. I mean, not knowing how to love myself at all. Once I tapped into that, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. You can't tell me nothing.
So what pivoted for you? Because I know that you know my story. Um, some of it, being bullied, not physical abuse, but mentally abused and things of that nature. What was that pivot for you that it was like, I can't do this no more, I'm all about me now. I want better. I got to do better.
I
What was
was
that pivot?
trying to I was trying to before I got married, I was trying to still date or whatever. And I just got irritated with the whole thing. I got tired. I was dating the wrong people and wasting time with the wrong people and not realizing that the reason I was even dealing with those kind of people is because that was who I was and what I was
Mhm.
displaying. So that's what I was attracting, who I was. They say that all the time. You attract who you are.
Mhm.
So even in that, I got sick and tired, and I was just like, I'm done. And people always think that's a bad thing when you say you're done with something. It's not always a bad thing. And I just started focusing on me. I started spending time with me. I started dating me. And
Mhm.
I realized that I was awesome to hang out with. So I started going, I love to go to breakfast in the mornings. And when I get off work, because I was working midnights, I would go have breakfast if I felt like having breakfast.
Mhm.
And I didn't have to call nobody, ask nobody, because at first, you know how you have people who want to go on a trip and they want to get this whole group of people together, or that one person to go with them. And so then you're limited to seeing if this person want to go, seeing if they got their money together, seeing if they gonna cancel or not, and all that old stuff. I wasn't dealing with that no more. And that was the only thing I had not done yet was I've traveled by myself, but not like I wanted to like go to Mexico by myself. Like I wanted to go out the country. I wanted to really do a whole trip by myself. Hadn't done that yet, but I started having breakfast by myself. I started going to the show by myself. I ain't gotta ask nobody. Like it was a remake of not really the remake, but they brought it back to the show of the Titanic. I love that movie. And I wanted to go to the show, and I was like so-called dating this dude or something. And he was like, I just knew it was gonna be like, but you want to go see that for? I don't want to hear all that.
Yeah.
I just want to do what Tiffany want to do.
Yep.
I don't want to have to answer to nobody because I didn't realize I didn't have to.
Yeah.
What are you answering to people for? What are you? I was being so more concerned with trying to love somebody else, and I didn't love myself.
Oof.
So when you get over that and you really start like loving you and spending time with you and realizing how amazing you are, it's for me, it was a wrap. Ain't no more excuses. Ain't no more why I can't go do this because I can. If it's something I have to sit back and work on a goal for, then you just work on that goal. I tell my kids all the time, if you don't start working on it, it's not going to never happen. Like it's just not going to happen. You see people, oh yeah, they got such and such. There was some type of goal they had to work towards to get there. They didn't just wake up and it was in front of them. So for me, that's, yeah.
You just help somebody.
The pivot. Once I started loving me, it's a wrap. I know I can have, produce, and accomplish anything in this world that I want.
You really just help somebody. You really did.
I hope so. Because folks are sitting back settling and they ain't even they don't have to. You don't have to. You're doing that by choice. It's not the other person's fault. This is you.
Yep. Take accountability for whatever part you played in the decisions in your life. Life isn't fair. Doesn't come with a rule book. But that's one of the things I am still learning. I'm in the middle right now. I'm learning that. But that if you can't enjoy yourself, how are you going to enjoy someone else? How are you going to know what joy feels like, what happiness feels like, because you're being codependent, depending on someone else to validate who you are as a person. Already know who you are going in. Go in as a whole person. So if we're talking relationships, that could be business, that can be romantically or whatnot, make sure that you're a whole person. I hear that so often, this person completes me or whatever. You are already complete.
But if they don't know that, it ain't gonna last.
Exactly.
Because it ain't gonna be enough. Because the minute that person decide they don't want you no more, or the minute that business person say, I'm getting ready to do my own thing, well, is this really what you wanted to do in the first place? Because it shouldn't matter. You can your business partner can decide to go their own way. And guess what? We got 7 billion people in this world who would love to partner with you. You can still build a team. You can still grow the bit. Like what? I'm trying to understand. Like folks got too many excuses, and it's just not the season for that. You should be over that. You should be focusing on, if you don't know how awesome you are, I can tell you all day long how awesome you are, but if you don't never know it for yourself, I'm just wasting my breath.
Yep.
So you have to get to that point. You have to want to get to that point. If you need, I'm all for therapy and counseling. I'm not for the medication, but I'm all for therapy and counseling. Because sometimes you just need to release some things that have been held in and things like that. And you gotta want it, because you can have all the counseling and all that stuff, and then still, if you really don't want it, you ain't gonna get it.
Yep. Indeed. Tiffany, it has definitely been a pleasure, speaking with you. You've given us so much valuable information about publishing, life, business. My final question to you is, what does the remainder of 2021? I still get caught up saying that. What does that look like for you?
I have several projects that I am working on, just my own outside of the clients I serve, and definitely building a team. There are there's a magazine that I'm going to release. I've attempted to release, Black Writer Space magazine, Black Writer Space magazine, Black Writer Space magazine a few times, and never really had a real plan. So even in business, I'm learning a lot, where I've announced and then didn't deliver and things like that. And so I'm learning how to really plan appropriately and launching something and different stuff like that. So I have a couple of things. I have another business that I'm launching, online business, and then that's strictly for women. And then a really, really amazing magazine that is going to really be able to catapult Black authors. So yeah, that's all I'll say about that. And then of course we're releasing volume 4 of Real Divas Win. And then I have a couple of other anthologies I also want to release. So yeah.
Amazing.
So it's pretty cool for this year. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. Oh, and I also have a conference. I have a conference coming up. I have to go in and update something. It's still on Eventbrite. I was scheduled to do it in September, and I changed it to this September. But it's called Her Life and Biz Conference, and it's going to be an online conference. And so far, I believe I had about 20 speakers. So I need to do another, so I got to get on all that.
Yes.
Yeah, but it's definitely gonna happen this year. And so I'm gonna start I'm gonna take March and try to position everything to start putting everything out and market and stuff like that. Get people to register because it's gonna be free.
Everybody like free.
You know what? I had free for regular admission, and then I did have some upgrades in case people wanted to be vendors, in case they wanted to, because I'm going to have swag. They have digital swag. So we're going to have some digital swag if somebody wants to be able to give away an ebook or something like that. So it's a couple of options, but the regular admission is for free.
Y'all hear that?
So
free.
I'm going to be talking more about that. Yeah, I got to go because I pulled it up the other day, and I need to log in because it says sales have ended, but it hasn't because I changed the date. So I just got to log in and see what's going on with that.
Okay.
But yeah, so lots and lots and lots of things for 2021, definitely.
Well, I'm for one am very excited. Where can everyone, so they can stay connected and know what's coming up and all these things that you have going on, how can they find you?
They can find me across social media via Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And then also, and most of my handles are Black Writer Space. And then also I have a podcast. My podcast is called Simple Conversations of Life, Business, and Publishing with Tiffany A. Green. Hood is definitely available wherever podcasts are streaming. My two main ones is Spotify and Apple Podcasts. You can find me on. So started that in 2020. I had not done a podcast, so I've really been trying to shoot out some episodes for that and talk more about just kind of dissecting the different pieces of publishing and things like that. But you can always Instagram. I am most active on Instagram. My website is, if you want to work with me and you're looking to publish, my full publishing packages are available at publishyourbooktoday.info. And then I have an author store that's like some a la carte services there. That is tamediaco.com, tamediaco.com. And then I also have my apparel line that I release. And so you can find all of that at my general link flow.page/I am Tiffany A. Green. So that is it.
What I tell y'all, Tiffany A. Green Hood, you don't know about it. If you didn't know, now you know. Okay. She has pushed me to step out of my comfort zone in so many areas of my life. I am forever grateful for that. And I'll just end it with what you say, you can and you will, so
Yes.
thank you.
And you know what? Hold on, Clubhouse. Anybody that's on Clubhouse and you doing anything with a book, you definitely want to follow me because I'm always in rooms with talking about publishing, self-publishing, whatever. Of course, my handle is Black Writer Space. If you are on Clubhouse, if you have an iPhone and you're not on there, straight to the head. Like you need to be on Clubhouse. So I just want to add that.
Perfect. Well, again, thank you for joining us. This has been another episode of Girl Talk with Alecia Tameko. And you know what? Like I said, you can and you will. If you don't get any other message from this, you can and you will. You all have a good one.